welcome back to the Sunday special episode of the You Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. So good to be back here with you, Jordana. We love a Sunday special. We love a Sunday special on YouTube. How great is this?
Love it. You guys can watch it anywhere you have a computer or your phone if you want to look at it. I don't know. When do people watch YouTube?
On the toilet.
On the toilet. And their work. Mike likes to have it when he's working from home. He has it just next to him.
Yeah.
And then he can peer over on occasion.
People do these things.
Yeah.
People are YouTube people. People make it a part of their work life. We want this. And especially like a Sunday, you wake up, maybe you turn this on, you're a little hungover. You're like, let me lay down, prop the phone up.
Exactly. Let us entertain you.
Let us dance, let us sing, let us tell you how to date. It's the You Up podcast every Wednesday and Sunday.
I can't wait for You Up the musical.
It's happening.
It's going to be
It's
amazing.
in production. We're moving every day. We get closer.
Exactly. Betches.co/YouTube. Check it out. Check out You Up with Benefits. There should be another episode out. Best $3 you'll ever spend.
People love the You Up with Benefits, and we have so many great. Here's the thing: you could pay $3 right now, sign up for You Up with Benefits, and all you got to do is hit the button on Apple, iTunes, or search it on Spotify. You have a backlog of so many now that it's like
hours
now
of entertainment.
This is like going to Costco.
Yeah,
getting in bulk.
You're welcome.
You're welkies. So. I'm also on the road. If you're listening right now, I am coming. Okay, to the Boston people out there, get those tickies now. It's in November. I know it's far off, but 2 shows of the Wilbur. It's going to be crazy. Albany, New York, this coming weekend. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Mohegan Sun.
Mohegan Sun.
Love the sun. Timonium, Maryland. Magoobies. Jordana's favorite club. Richmond, Virginia. And then Boston. So come on out. Love a fall show.
Yeah.
Let's do it. What are we talking about?
I'm ready. Okay. We're talking about dates and having a bad date when the dates are going well.
Okay.
I'll read it. We got some screenshots. We're going to get into it. You
we
got
love
the
a
raw
screen.
materials.
Yeah, we got
raw materials. You can't hide.
No.
When we've got the screenshots.
You really can't. And this one's an interesting tale.
I like it. I think it's relatable. But interesting.
Totally agree. And yeah, I know the person, it is funny that some of these, now I know the person who writes this email.
You know what they're thinking?
I know what they're thinking.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing this almost 5 years.
It's crazy.
And so, we know you.
Back
audience.
before YouTube was just kicking like it is today.
Exactly. We're just watching Cheech and Chong. All right. Hi, J&J. Love the pod. I'm writing this email at the airport after a somewhat unsuccessful weekend visiting a guy.
Ooh, there should be a section at every airport for young women to write emails to the You Up podcast after
from an unsuccessful weekends. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. There's a thing about I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to visit the guy that's not my boyfriend.
Right.
Is a thing.
Well, it's never.
Should I go?
I'm always the thing is, it sucks to be the person. You should always go. I not always
go.
No, but let me reframe that.
Okay.
Rephrase that, because you should go with realistic expectations, and you should understand this is a romantic, and also be safe. Obviously, make sure you take as many precautions. I'm not telling people to just go visit anybody.
That goes without saying, yeah.
I hope it goes without saying, but I'm saying it just in case. Just in case. But so many people go on this and they forget how extreme it is to go and try to relate it to their lives in an unextreme way.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, if you're going to go on these trips, play it out for yourself before you go. Both scenarios, right?
Best case, worst case.
Yes. Best case scenario, you go, you hit it off. It's magic, amazing connection. You spend the whole weekend together.
And you figure out what's the next weekend. That's really, and again, best case isn't we get married.
Right.
No. You've gone way down the line. Best case scenario, great weekend. That involves planning for the next weekend you're going to do.
Yes. Worst case scenario.
Murdered.
Yes, fine. 100%. Worst case scenario, murdered,
Second
gone,
worst,
don't
yeah.
have to deal with anything else.
Right.
Second to worst case scenario, you go, it's not, the person isn't, the vibe isn't what you thought it would be. The match isn't what you thought it would be. It's not working out. Have a plan B for not staying with them
Right.
or, have a backup hotel, have a backup
Flight.
Don't make it so you're stranded there.
Right.
With the person, if it's just not working out.
Have a plan to escape.
Right.
And also, there's like a middle ground way.
Yes. Most cases will be somewhere in the middle of,
Mhm.
I immediately know this isn't this isn't good, and I'm going to bounce, and best weekend ever.
Well, the less extreme version that we get is it was great, and now what do we do now?
Right.
That's not best case or worst case. That's just, hey, I got to hang out with this
What does
person. I had
mean?
fun. What does
Yeah,
this mean?
Now we don't know what this means.
And genuinely, I do believe anyone can be a good boyfriend for a weekend.
yeah. I've had that scenario, where it's like, we don't know what this means. It means a lot more to one person than the other person. And then it becomes, even if the weekend was great, it's still weird.
Will we
after.
make the
'Cause then-
attempt to do the next thing, which is the hard thing?
Well, here's what happens when and I've been through this, where it's like, if one person thinks it's like great, and the other person's kind of like, after the weekend is like, I don't know if I want to do like a long distance. Like, this was
Right.
fun, but I don't know.
I don't know what my capacity is for this.
Right.
Yeah.
Might just be a fun weekend for me. And the other person's like, oh, I'm in. Then it becomes, then you're like, I shouldn't have even gone. Or you blame it on the weekend.
And that could, right. I lost, but then you
Right.
never would have gotten answers in the first place.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. And again, to the people who think it's great, you're not crazy for thinking it was great.
Not at all.
You're like,
It probably was great.
It was great for both of you.
But it's more like, great weekend for both people can still mean different things after the weekend is over.
Right. And you both have a right to that. I've been in that situation.
I've been in that situation too. I'm usually the one who's more into it.
Well, I'm usually the one being like, I don't see this,
Yeah.
and
You
here's
don't say that while they're still there. That's
No,
the other thing.
you-
So people leave the weekend.
right.
with
Everything
two
was great.
Right. With two totally different perspectives on what's happening next.
Right. It's hard. And it's hard because, and here's the other thing, on a weekend together, when you don't live in the same, you don't get the couch time. You don't get the normal time. It's all just interview. It's, and you
Yeah.
feel like you get the in-between time because you're spending the in-between time together. But no, you're planning up a whole weekend. You're going to, showing them the best bars, the best, the good restaurants, let me show you my New York,
Right.
and
here's a lot of the times when you have one of these weekends, there's been a lot of build up to it.
yeah.
So it's very, built up of like, okay, this is the weekend where we start dating. Or
Right. And it's hard because,
you feel like you know the person, but you haven't actually spent that much time in person with
and
them.
that's why it's easy for some people to go, well, I'm not looking for long distance. I don't need to make this happen because,
Right.
maybe
it could just be a fun week. Why
was
not?
just a fun
Why
weekend,
not?
right.
Especially if
Why
you came
not?
there.
yeah.
Well, let's read the email now that we've answered the question
well,
already.
well, it's just a very relatable story because I think everyone, and especially with communication the way it is today, the way you can find people, we're going to see in this one,
Mhm.
they find each other in a very, it could happen.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Hi, J&J. Love the pod. I'm writing this email at the airport after a somewhat unsuccessful weekend visiting a guy. Before I get into the story, my questions are, okay, you should ask the questions after the story.
Let's go. We'll get in the story. We'll fix her email.
Okay. I met this guy in March while visiting a very good friend of mine in another city. For reference, I'm 28. He is 34. He had added me on Instagram a month before, slid into my DMs, and found out I was coming into town in a few weeks. He asked to take me out on my first night in town, and during that date, he set up another plan to go out 2 days later. After the date, I thanked him, told him I had a great time, and was looking forward to Saturday. I did not text or follow up after that. Saturday comes around, and I have not heard from him. He texted my friend who he knows and asked how I was doing. Weird move, LOL. Okay.
Nothing is weird. Nothing is by accident.
Yes.
He did this for a reason, but okay.
I text him making a joke since I figured he might be unsure if I wanted to go out again. Right away, he was excited to go out and confirm plans. We had a great time and ended the night with a sleepover. My vibe of both dates was that this is a good guy, not looking for anything too serious.
No, a good time guy.
Oh, good time. Sorry. This was
Yeah.
a good time. Very different. Very different.
Yeah,
Very-
I
thank
wouldn't
you
have
for the-
corrected you
No,
if it
thank you for the
wasn't.
correction. My vibe of both dates was that this was a good time guy, not looking for anything too serious. For my friend, I knew he had just gotten out of a 2-year-long relationship.
Wait a minute. The guy who slid into your DMs
Is a good time guy.
from another state and wants to take you on a date when you visit town in a few weeks isn't looking for serious?
Shocking. But to my surprise, he kept our convos going and we settled into speaking twice a week or so and exchanging memes. This level of keeping each other on rotation went on for 4 months. Then in June, things got more intense, FaceTiming for hours every other day, texting constantly about possible relationship goals and plans for the future. After 3 months of this, I
Well,
felt
my
like,
goal is to live in the same town as the guy I fuck.
I'm sure it came up that way.
Right.
After 3 months of this, I felt like we needed to DTR, but I wanted to do this in person to confirm the feelings. That brings me to this weekend. I planned a trip to his city for Labor Day and arranged to spend time with him and my friend separately. He was really excited and made all kinds of plans, motorcycle rides in the mountains, night out in an island under the stars, yada yada. Those all sound pretty
Island
romantic.
under the stars.
Yeah.
Where's she
Yada
go-
yada.
Yeah.
It's on The Bachelor.
Yeah, drop a link.
He picked me up. It's not,
Wait,
this guy sounds
where's
like
the
he's a
Star
good
Island?
planner.
Yeah.
He picked me up at the airport the first night, and we went straight into an all-night date that went really well. Had another sleepover, and I was completely obsessed. So
Uh-oh.
hot, so sweet, so engaging. Seems like seemingly
So supple.
seemingly the perfect guy. We planned another date for Sunday afternoon. Unfortunately, my friend was going through some problems, and we had a little fight on Saturday and Sunday morning.
It was her and the friend got in a fight,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Saturday/Sunday morning. Okay. Maybe she was like, you said you were coming to visit me, and then you've just been out fucking this guy all night.
Been out on Star Island, taking his motorcycle through the mountains. I'm just sitting here alone.
Waiting for you? Yeah.
We had brunch plans.
I could see how that would actually turn into a
Right. You're
discussion.
just using me to go see a honey bunny.
I mean, that's what she's doing. It ended fine, but I had some anxiety about it and felt a little off all day. On top of that, the original date we planned fell through, and he decided on a movie instead. My least favorite date. A
How could he?
movie on the date.
I do not want to see Top Gun Maverick.
I would feel the same way. On the date, he could tell I was off, and so I told him briefly why, but that had nothing to do with him, and I just wanted to drop it and have a good time. Then I snapped out of it pretty quickly. It was fun, but not an amazing date for either of us, TBH. At the end of the night, I asked if I would see him again, as I had only one more day left. He gave me a really wishy-washy answer, and that he
We
had
don't
a lot
like
of
wishy-washy.
yeah, that he had a lot of work but could make time. That's so much work.
Got some motorcycle riding to do.
Then we had a very awkward brief convo as we were waiting for his Uber. He kissed me goodnight and then said, I hope I see you tomorrow. This I thought was weird since I had thought I had made it clear that I wanted to see him tomorrow on my last day. Like,
Yeah. She's seeing what she wants to see.
yeah. I hope I see you tomorrow. What do you mean you hope?
What do you?
There's a very easy way to make that
I'm
happen.
here.
Right? After we parted ways, I was thinking about how off it was, and I thought maybe he wasn't sure if I was into it, so we had the following conversation. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to be her. Hey, hope you got home safe. I'd like to see you one more time before I go. Can you make time to go for a rib on the motorcycle or a drive and chat sometime tomorrow?
What do you want to chat about? let's just air this out now.
Well, she also, keep in mind, she came into this trying to define this relationship.
That was her plan for the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, shit, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
He could sense it coming. I didn't mean that to sound ominous or anything. LOL. I was a little off yesterday because of other stuff, and I think maybe it would be good to not leave it on such a weird note since I'm here. But if you're too busy, I totally understand as well.
I did feel a bit weird yesterday. I felt I was getting in the middle of something.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. You were not. I should have not let it get to me, but I just don't handle conflict very well. I don't really want to leave it on such a weird note, especially since it's all my fault. LOL.
Oh, totally all good. I just felt like you weren't into it.
Definitely was, and I did have fun. I was just a little off, but I worked out this morning, and I'm back to my normal, non-anxious self.
Oh, that's good.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool beans.
Good for you.
Cool beans.
Oh, that's good. I'll let you know when I'm finishing up and see where you are.
Okay, sounds good. I can always pop over to your side of town as well.
Right. I like how she makes it sound so easy and he makes it sound so difficult.
Right.
I can pop over anytime. And then he's like, I'll let you know. I'll see where things are. You know, like it's
Right.
very
Very
different.
vague.
And then later that day, he writes back, hey, I'm sorry for the delay. Turns out I got to fix something on the bike. I think I might just have a low-key night here. If that's okay and you spend your last day night with your friend, I'm drowning in school for tomorrow.
Never trust multiple excuses.
Yeah,
You got to go with one.
One. He threw a bunch at you.
Yeah. The bike thing is annoying because that's just clearly like a lie.
Right.
No problem. Bummed I'm not going to see you before I leave, though. Okay. Then
And
she says.
He writes nothing.
She doesn't write anything.
Thumbs up.
We talked more that night, mostly me reassuring him that I would in fact like to see him, and him saying he doesn't want to impose, but never met up, and by the end of the day, I had gotten the ick so bad. I understand everyone needs some reassurance, but I think that I made it clear I liked him and I wanted to see him. Also, I traveled all this way to see him. This was also not the first time he has needed me to validate that I find him hot and want to talk to him. It has been a common theme throughout, but it was not so glaringly obvious as it was in this case. After months of talking and great interactions, does it really just take one off night for him to be over it? Or is he just so insecure he needs a mountain of validation? Either way, I am done. Major ick factor. Great guy, but ultimately I can't give that kind of constant reassurance and also feel that I can't ever have an off night without everything going sideways. I'm honestly of the mind to just stop our communication without having a convo about what happened, not ghosting, just stop putting in energy with his need for validation, and he should get the picture pretty quick, LOL. Has it been too long? Do I need to do a post-mortem with him? Am I being mean by having the ick because of its insecurities? Please help. Sincerely, too much labor on Labor Day.
It's a very confusing email at the end. She goes
Right.
from like, how could he be over it after one bad night? And then,
I'm
over him.
Right.
I don't really believe her.
If
sorry.
that was truly the case, I don't think she would be writing in to ask how she should end it, which I don't really believe. Like,
Right. His plan worked.
what was his plan?
And I don't know how much he planned this. I don't think he's,
Mastermind, Dr. Evil.
Yeah, Dr. Evil. I don't think he's like an evil mastermind. But the idea of, you're not into me, to me is a little too convenient.
That for him.
At the end of the weekend, he can figure out a way to make her the bad guy who wasn't too into him. Felt like it was a little weird. Oh, she wanted to have the talk, and then he reverses it on her. I mean, in the text.
Well, in the first, we didn't even read the questions from the first part where she says, does every date have to go perfectly? How much reassurance do men need? Do I need to have a conversation to end this non-committed entanglement, or can I just fade away?
Those are all in the key of, she's like, I'm turned off by this and I want to get away from a guy who needs validation all the time.
I don't think that was the issue.
I don't think so either. Just the idea of her going, can we have a chat? And he says, what do you want to talk about? And then she says, I feel bad about yesterday. He feels that she's like looking to like make amends.
Right.
And then he says, I did feel weird. He just agrees with her.
Right.
Takes her cue. And I felt like I was getting in the middle of something. Yeah, I'm so sorry. And then she says, I don't really want to leave it on such a weird note, especially since it's all my fault. So she's already taken all the fault. So now he knows he's going to be the good guy in all this.
Right.
And now he goes, totally all good. Just felt like you weren't into it. Now he presses even further to get her to kind of like push away. Here's the mistake she and many people make when they do this distance, long time, kind of in between hookup and relationship thing. She never fully jumps in. You're having FaceTimes every night together. You are in a relationship of some sort.
Right.
It is okay to say to him, and then she stays with a friend for the weekend? To me, it's not matching.
Right. Well, she's trying to do what we said in the beginning of like plan as if the weekend wouldn't go well.
Well, but
Have
she's
a
already
backup
had
plan.
the weekend. This is the second or third rodeo.
Right.
She says she's already done it.
Right. They visited before. She's been in his town before.
Right. And they've
Right.
done this dance. And now there's a level of trust where they're having hour-long FaceTimes. At this point, you're kind of dating. And to say to him, like, hey, I'm going to come for the weekend. What's our plan? And then he kind of says, well, and then that's why the friend gets annoyed, because the friend is your fucking housekeeper.
Right.
And
Is there
hotel.
during case of emergency.
Right. When you're past the point of in case of emergency
Right.
trips, which it seems like they are.
Yeah.
It seems like trust has been built. You know the friend, they know through the mutual friend. And it seems as though whenever she becomes too much of a responsibility, even on her trips, he gets a little weary and backs away and leaves her.
Once it's kind of clear that she's into it.
Or into it, or like looking to like hang out when it's not convenient for him.
Right. But my thought was like, again, I think you could have that night that was great.
Mhm.
And then the other person's interpretation was like, wow, that was a great night. This person's in town. I had a great
Right.
time with them. But also, that's all I'm really looking for.
Right. And the minute she wanted to have a chat, he goes,
Yeah.
I don't think you're into it.
Right.
And then she goes, oh, I got to give all this validation. Right. No, he's trying to let you know, I don't want to talk to you about this. This is as much as I'll give you.
So how would a guy who was looking to date you act on one of these weekends?
It's very easy to be a good boyfriend for a weekend.
Okay. So that wouldn't even mean anything if he did everything right.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it should be so easy.
Right.
This
You're
should be
spending the whole time
magic
together.
and
Yeah.
romance.
Right.
Motorcycle rides in the mountains, Star Island. This should
Yeah.
be, but
Non-stop till you leave.
But it just doesn't match that she writes, we have all these FaceTimes and talks every night. And
About the relationship and what our goals are.
Right. And if you're already there, it's weird that she's in a different place over text than she was in person. She held it, she's holding this to we're talking about the future here, but then she gets in person, she kind of wusses out.
Okay.
Because I know I'm blaming her.
It's not her.
I'm
right.
not,
I want to say it's not her.
I don't think it's her fault. I think, listen.
This guy is pulling he's also pulling the very cowardly move, which we've talked about over and over again, that he's making her break up with herself. She thinks she ended it, but like he really ended it.
He really ended it. And he is playing a game. He
is at fault for that. I think he could very easily have just said, listen, like I've had a fun time hanging out.
Right.
I don't really want to do a long distance relationship. And I'm like, I had fun, but I just don't really see the point in us seeing each other tonight, because I just don't really see this going anywhere.
Hard to do when they're in town.
Yeah.
Especially when you've hours of FaceTime. So I understand why he doesn't, but you're right.
Hard to do, but if she's asking to talk, like nice, right thing to do.
That's when he should have done it.
Yeah.
But even leading into that, he spends the first night, and then the second night he's like a little weird.
Right.
How is someone, and also saying, I don't know if I'll have time. You knew I was coming for the weekend. You take time to FaceTime with me. Like, I guess my point isn't to blame her. I'm saying she has a right. She had a right to say to this person, hey, I'm like looking to explore this. So what is your plan for the weekend if I come?
Right.
And then he gives an answer to that question. If he's like, well, you could stay with your friend, and she didn't want to hear the answer to that question. And I kind of mentioned that in the beginning. Like, she
didn't ask to stay with him for that reason, you're saying?
I would assume.
Yeah.
And because she had a right to. The fact that she referenced then in June things got more intense. FaceTiming for hours every other day, texting. She wrote it to us for a reason.
Yeah. I get why, in her head, she's rationalized the half staying with him, because she's like, okay, we haven't we've had all this stuff on FaceTime. What if it doesn't actually go well? Like, maybe I do want a backup situation. I do want to be able to like not be there exclusively with him if it doesn't work out. And then after the first night, she probably thought, okay, now I know it's working out. Like, I don't need this anymore.
Right. I also think there's different backups for different types of trips.
Yeah. She should have gotten a hotel.
Well, yeah. The first time you go, the backup is my friend lives there. I'll stay with my friend. We'll do one date.
Right.
The second time, the backup is getting ahead. hey, what is the
Yeah.
plan for us this
I
weekend?
agree, especially because they'd already done the hangouts.
They've
before.
they've established safety.
Yeah.
You know someone in common.
Right.
You know, like
if you're on the brink of a relationship, she wanted to do. Said she did. That's a good point.
Right.
She did say, "I wanted to come and define the relationship." If you're not staying with the person you're defining the relationship with, that's a little weird.
It's very.
How could
weird.
you be on that level?
Right. So it seems there's a disconnect between how they text and call with how they are in person, which is what happens a lot of times with this, like, we're going to try and we're going to meet over distance. I don't think you can really meet over distance. I think that's very hard to do.
What do you mean meet over distance?
The DM from a state away.
Oh, not the like we've already like someone moves. That's
If
different.
someone moves,
Yeah.
I believe long distance is I'm not saying it. The problem with these conversations, one fucking married woman is like, well, Robert and he lived in Antarctica. And you're like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
That
You're
is
the
not,
exception.
they're the exception to the rule. The reality is, if a guy slides in your DMs because you have a mutual friend and says, oh, you're going to be here in a few weeks, let's hang out, I'll take you out. Yeah, nothing better than someone with an exit plan.
Right.
Again, he's not the bad guy. You got the ick because he needs a constant.
And it's annoying because he is a little bit of the bad guy trying to not come off as the bad guy.
Totally.
So I am annoyed with him, but I agree.
He's not absolved.
She could have gone in hard. She should have come in harder,
Yes.
not softer.
Right. And I guess what she's going to say is, well, she's afraid of losing something
Yeah.
she doesn't have.
I get it. And she had a good time. So she was probably like, I played this entirely correctly.
Right.
And first night, she came back. She's obsessed.
Right.
She said.
Well, she goes, and her question overall is, can one bad date? No.
Yeah.
One bad date doesn't take someone
For
who you're
someone who wants to
FaceTiming
date.
every day
Yes.
to go, well, enough of that shit. No, they go, well, listen, I know you're having even the way he responded to her, oh, I know you're having she writes all these nice things.
Yeah.
You're right.
He's right. He's not like, he's kind of seems like a douchebag.
He does.
Yeah.
I am back to my normal, non-anxious self. She's trying to put fucking.
She's trying to say like, don't, and that's what I'm saying. She's overcompensating for this. I'm sure she was
Right.
like in a bad mood for like 5 minutes.
Right.
It's annoying that he let her also like think that was the reason.
Right.
He used it to get to, again, like you said, get out of being the bad guy. It's just annoying when people do that because I've been in that situation where you're like now like overanalyzing the whole thing to be like, where did I go wrong? And then she's beating herself up for it.
Right. And it is annoying. This isn't, how do we become a better buyer?
Right.
And it's like, I see this thing happens a lot with the emails we get where someone's holding themselves to some sort of rules that don't even exist. Like the idea that you can't say to someone, well, hey, we've hung out a couple times, I'm going to be coming again. Like she also stayed with the friend to not say that she was staying. She probably said, oh, I'm coming just to see my friend, but you're there.
Right.
You get that a lot. No,
Yeah.
fuck. I'm
Right.
coming because I want to explore this and I want to see, if we could be together. Define the relationship, talk coming.
Yeah. Everyone, I mean, it's a fear of owning that because then you're also like, okay, I broke the mystery. I've laid all my
Yeah.
cards out. And that can be a turnoff for some people who are like, but maybe those aren't people you should be dating.
It shouldn't be a turnoff for someone who's making time to FaceTime you every night.
Right.
And if he's doing that because he's got no one else to talk to, which is what a lot of people do.
That's
A lot
true.
of people are just texting with someone they've got to text.
Yeah.
And
they
it
don't
feels
have too
bigger-
much else going on.
Right.
Yeah.
You're the one fish they got on the line.
And it's kind of true for the both of you.
But
in that- right.
absolutely. That's why she's dating someone out of town.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, these dates are amazing. How come I can't find an amazing guy here? Well, because
It's more exciting that way also.
it's harder.
Yeah.
Because then because when you have the amazing date in your own town with someone, they live there, you go,
You have to decide
so
right
what's
away.
next week?
Yeah.
And they go, I don't know, you want to get a coffee? It's
Yeah. But then on her mind, she's like, why would he be wasting his time FaceTiming me every day for this
because
one
he's not
weekend?
wasting his time. He doesn't
Right.
believe he is. He's
He doesn't
got
have
nothing
anything else
to do.
going on. Right. That's the thing to remember is this guy is a bigger loser than you think.
Right.
I do think that's true because I've been involved in a number of like these like sort of long distancey things and you're like, they're giving me so much attention. They're,
Yeah.
they're calling, they're writing these emails. And then you don't think on the back of your head, like, maybe this guy's just a loser over there.
Right.
Doesn't have anything
Well, and he's
else going on. And that's why he's so that's part of the reason that you're getting this in-person attention. Or
What's
this
that?
this not virtual attention.
Right. What's an hour on FaceTime to get blown when it's most convenient for you? I mean, that sounds horrible. I agree. That's icky.
Yeah.
But
No,
that's kind of what he's...
Yeah.
I don't think he's saying that. I don't think he's looking at the phone being like, what's an hour on FaceTime to get blown this weekend? I don't think
he's enjoy the conversation.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think to him, it's just not... Again, this is something like you're dealing with men, is they're not saying... What's the next step? Oh, okay, we'll talk on the phone. Oh, we're talking on the phone. That means we're moving forward. No, it's just another day to him.
Right.
And that's
Which
sad.
sucks. Yeah.
I agree.
I feel for her. But I agree. Now, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I agree with you that it's weird that that it wasn't established that that she was staying with him.
Yeah, well, she avoided that. And I have a feeling that's what the fight was about.
With the friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
I would be annoyed too.
Right. Get the fuck out of here.
You're coming to visit. You're going to stay.
You're going to be in a relation with this guy? You're coming to see your boyfriend? You're going to stay with me?
Yeah. If it was about that, let us know. I would really like an update on that.
Me too. Well,
what about her actual question, which I don't think is like a real valid thing, where she says, "How do I end it?"
I would break up with him. If I always encourage breakups because they add consequences.
Right.
Like, this is the problem. None of us give ourselves credit. You had a relation with this guy.
Draft a breakup text for her.
Hey, I'll draft it right now. Hey, I'm really annoyed with how this past weekend went. I came there to see what we could be and to get to know you more. I have gotten to know you more. I decided I don't really like us as a match. Please don't text me ever again.
And he's going to be like, great, that worked itself
Yeah,
out.
I guess that's
exactly what he wanted.
Check that off the list.
Someone cancels on you before you cancel on them. That's the
best feeling in the world. But you know what? Free yourself from it.
No,
because now
it's for you. It's not for him.
Listen,
right.
He's a DM slider.
Yeah.
So
beware of the DM slider.
Beware.
Fickle friends.
Beware of the DM slider that found you through a friend that lives a state away.
Yes.
Like, what? How could he?
He's not looking for anything serious? What? Okay. Anyway, that's it for our Sunday special. Thank you guys for listening.
Yes.
This was a good one.
Fun one. Share. Let a friend know. Betches.co/YouTube. You can watch this if you enjoyed it so much. You can see Jordan and I's facial react. We get very animated.
Yes, we get very heated.
Yes. Especially because there's no AC. We have
exactly.
to keep the
Physically
sound
heated.
good for you.
All right. Bye. The U Up podcast is produced by Sean Kilby, Maddie Paul, and Jorge Morales Pico. Editing by Jorge Morales Pico. Social media by Maddie Paul. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.